tea. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
So far, so good.
What more can we say?
Yeah. Standing up and moving. That's the main thing.
I'll say I went to a neighbor's 90th birthday party yesterday, and
Whoa.
he's up and moving.
He's up and moving too?
Yeah. He's 9 months older than I am.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, where did the time go?
Oh. And he keeps going.
Yeah, it does. That's the thing.
Yes, it does.
Well, my cardiologist said I'll see you in 6 months, so
That's good.
that was this morning.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to take his word for it.
Well, I have 2 of them and they alternate, so I see one of them every 3 months.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see the other guy in 3 months.
Yeah. But
Such a...
that's our life.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Yeah. Yeah.
wish mine would beat a little more regularly, but
Yeah. Yeah, there is that.
you know, I've taken to checking my pulse, my heart rate by feeling it because it's
Right.
more accurate than
Yeah.
any of the machines I have. And you feel what it's doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can do that when I'm meditating.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sitting.
Yeah.
And can tell what's going on.
Although everything gets better when I meditate.
Yeah, it seems to.
I mean, my breathing gets better. I think my heart functions better.
Right, yeah.
Um,
Oh, today's payday.
yeah.
Is it 240?
Yep.
Wow, I remembered.
Whoa! All right.
Where's Billy?
Well, I was expecting him. Um, It is 10:02.
Oh, yeah, he's not out in the parking lot.
Apparently not.
No.
And he hasn't asked to join yet.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. He has good days and bad days.
Yeah. So do I.
I guess I was going to say. I guess we're all familiar with that.
Yeah.
So he can have a day when he's just
Not doing well.
not doing well. So
Well, that was my main complaint, is that with this new medication, I'm just fatigued all the time.
really, oh, that
Yeah.
sucks.
The Sotorol, yeah.
So can they do anything about that?
Yeah, he asked me if it was manageable. I said, yeah, it's all right. I kind of suspected that's why I was getting tired.
Mm-hmm.
And he just said if it, gets to the point where you want to try something else, he's got they have some other medication. They always have something else, so.
Far too many.
Yeah, I know. I'm on way too many. I think it's 8.
Oh wow.
Yeah. If I take them all.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hey,
good morning.
this morning.
We're glad that you made it.
You know what I saw this morning? A bobcat
Really?
run across the road. It's the first one I've seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we've seen them out here now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, one morning we were in class in the school, and all of a sudden we realized that there was one just strolling down the road. Wasn't running.
No.
Nothing was going on as far as it was
Just
concerned.
taking its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised at how muscular it looked and compact. I guess I kind of expected something a little more lithe. I don't know.
Huh.
Amazing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was a treat.
Mm.
Good.
So, World Tai Chi Day was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
For once, it didn't rain.
That was a definite improvement.
Yeah.
Did I see you?
No, I was looking for you, but I didn't. I asked around if you were up there, and
I was there until about 1,
uh,
and then I went home.
that's probably around the time that I got there.
Oh, okay, no,
'Cause
I,
it was,
the workshop I was doing was at 10, and
oh, okay.
I wanted to, I was gonna watch the, demonstrations, but instead
Right.
of that, I talked to a couple of teachers, and we had good conversations.
Oh, good. Yeah, about the time I got there, they were doing the demos.
Yeah, well, I had been there, but,
Yeah,
I left flyers for Rick Barrett's workshop on George's table.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed he was there,
Oh, yeah.
and, we got David Chandler was there,
Oh, yeah. Jonas was there.
Jonas was there, Mei Lee,
You know,
little drill sergeant,
yep.
Oh, is she the, yeah.
cracked the whip.
She was drill sergeanting.
Yeah, she was, yeah, that's what I told Jeannie, I says, that's Mei Lee, she's a little drill sergeant.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, a lot of the teachers there. Unfortunately, I guess Laddie was not feeling well, and so he didn't come. He had thought he might come for a little while, but apparently he was not feeling well enough. His health is really clamped down on him.
not improving.
No,
Yeah.
no. We need to get you slip-on shoes, Bill.
I wore, at least I didn't wear my wrap today,
Oh.
so I would never got these things on.
Oh, yes. Your ankle.
It's the whole leg.
Yep.
You're here.
I'm here. I'm
Oh.
here.
Onward and upward.
Yep.
We're all here.
Hmm.
You know, I have a private student who's very Western oriented, but he loves the Ting Shao. He said.
Does he?
He said it really changes his presence and awareness at the start of class.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do.
Well, that's what they're supposed to do. But it interests me that he, of all people, not that the rest of you don't get it too. So, questions? What have you been doing in your practice? Anything?
Yeah, that's a lot of practice though. Can't practice the same thing every day.
Well, that's all
I
right.
tend to go, what am I gonna do today? Then I've added on Rick Barrett's feeding the wood dragon, which is, still working on that. Can't get over as far as he gets.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, some days I just do do that,
Dynamic sphere?
the dynamic sphere. And then other days just the form.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess that that reminds me that I want to say that it's also important to do some standing work
Yeah, to begin with.
to begin with. That's really, we don't, we think about the movement work as being what we want to focus on, what we want to get to.
Mm.
But the standing is equally, if not sometimes more important.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the Taoists have over 200 standing postures.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
So that kind of gives you an idea of how important they feel that is. So even if you don't do a whole lot, it's important to take a little bit of time and stand before you begin. So I just throw that out because
What can you do when you're standing?
whatever you'd like to do. What can you do? Me or you?
What could I do? Because I don't do any kind of standing.
So, that simple basic position, this is the first of the over 200 positions. And so simply standing in that position and being aware of your structure, feeling the alignment, being aware that you can allow some energy to sink through your body. One of the critical things that we need to develop over time, and it is over time, but it's easiest to begin with in standing, is extending the mind through the body. So in other words, you want to literally feel the mind moving through your entire body. But that's how you can feel the inside of your body and feel every part of it and feel what's happening there. And eventually that's an essential element in being able to directly connect to the chi and be able to direct where it goes, which is different. We have to remember that it's different from simply being aware of the movement of the chi, which is an important stage. If you can't feel the chi moving, you certainly can't connect to it and send it wherever it needs to go. Clearly, that's one of the things that Master Joe is trying to lead us towards here, being able to do that. It's kind of an end, not a final, but one of the more advanced developments in internal work, certainly. But simply being aware, feeling, that's the first thing you get with standing. Secondly, if you remember back that when any of us begin Tai Chi, we often are taught either that position or embrace the moon. I used often to begin with. It's simply a way to gather more chi into the body. So if you can begin to be really aware and open, you can focus on using your breath and getting more chi to come into your body. And we all know that that's a positive thing to do. It's hard to do that when you're moving, or harder. Hard is probably not accurate, but a little harder to do when you're moving. When you're standing, it's easier. I think when I was, not long after I had begun, probably, I'm thinking of 4 or 5 years after I began, I got to know someone who had serious cancer to the point where the doctors said that they couldn't operate. And he focused, excuse me, he focused just on standing out in nature. And he stood for 2 hours at a time. And in about 6 months, he actually got himself to where they could operate. And it saved his life. And I haven't talked to him for a little while, but the last I heard, he was still alive. And that was, we're talking about 20, 25 years ago. So it just points out the power of simply standing and being really completely focused on standing and feeling. So it's an important element. And you guys are both in, I won't say great shape, but you're not in bad shape either.
Oh.
Well, some days.
Some days
We all
are
have our
better than
days.
others. Some days are better than others.
But you might find that simply standing would help improve that sometimes. You'd be surprised if you get a little more chi flowing in there. And you got to get it in before you can get it moving more. So that's why we always start with some standing. As a matter of fact, when you get to the point, and I certainly don't do this all the time, but I often will, in a practice, get myself to do it, and that is when I start to do the flow of the form, to really let myself, as fully as I can, arrive at Wu Chi. That just a present state of being there. And don't move until something moves you. Not move because I've got to go do the grocery shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
At least you guys don't have to go to work. Or maybe you do. But if you learn to really sink into that moment and be really present with it, it's really interesting, because there comes a moment when moving is what you have to do. Moving is what's happening. And that's a standing practice too, but related to doing Tai Chi. So I certainly got off on a tangent, didn't I?
Well, I asked.
Yeah.
So I throw that out.
Thank you.
Other questions or thoughts? Your sound suggested you hadn't been able to do a lot of practice.
No.
Okay. So last time we really just kind of went through the whole
repertoire.
Did we get to the form? I don't even remember if we did the form last time. We got through all the other stuff, I know. So thinking back about that, is there one particular part of that you feel a particular need to go back to? Or none of it or all of it or
Dynamic sphere, the transitions are,
mm.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that so that in a way has to do with beginning to be aware that each side of the body is doing
Different.
something different.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. If if indeed you go through your dynamic sphere and you get to here and everything is bent, then you have to make a quick change. I'm sorry, if this one is no, if this one is bent, yeah, then when you get here,
Yeah.
it's not so hard. But if it's extended, then you have to bend in that little bit of change, and there isn't really time to do it, and it's not where it's appropriate to do. So you have to think about when this is bent, this is extended.
Right.
And when this is extended,
That's
this
bent.
is bent. Not a lot, but a little.
Yeah.
And it reverses, it's gone back out. And it's come back in, and it's gone back out, and it's ready to
Go
and it's come back in. Yeah. So it's also being aware that the transition doesn't start at the moment this gets here. It really starts somewhere along in here, so that everything is moving simultaneously.
Right.
Otherwise, you end up with a start-stop issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I still have trouble coordinating the hand that's out here. I really have to think about it.
Yeah. Well, you probably don't have to think about this one.
No, that one's fine.
Yeah. So,
but it's this one that's got to be doing that.
Yeah. The other thing that's kind of interesting is also that it's also twisting through all of that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you're right. It's not easy, and that's why I suggested that you only focus on one arm at a time. So if you have the dominant arm, so that you don't have to think about it, well, now you can think about this one.
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Yeah, and just allow this to do its thing while you're doing this, and then you switch arms, and this one becomes the one you focus on.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what.
I know, it's just a matter of, I have to decouple it because it tends to want to do the same thing that the active arm is doing.
Right.
So if it's going out, this one's going out. And
Right.
then when it comes in, it comes in. It's kind of like,
And
Yeah, right.
that's also part of why we do that and think about it as preparation for the single arm practice, because that's what's happening in the single arm practice.
Yeah.
The double arm practice, they're both doing the same thing.
Yeah, just opposite.
So then that's, in a way, it's easier, although what's going on there is different.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, well,
Just have to do it.
let's do it.
Okay.
crunching. Are you crunching today?
Yeah, crunching, that's it. Nitrogen is, nitrogen is shooting through the joints.
I see.
That's what makes it crack.
Okay. So since it's morning, we're going to step out with the right. And just come into that basic structure. And the first thing is to be aware of centering your weight on your feet and allowing the feet and ankles to soften and open. And as Master Joe said, merge into the earth. Don't tense the feet. This makes it a little harder to connect downward if you do that. Feel the energy moving through the back of the knees. Perineum open. Quad relaxed so that you've dropped slightly to your base level. Keep the midriff open. Aware of the back rising up. Armpits open. Head lifted so that there's no pressure on the top of the spine. So the energy flows through the neck and through the brain. And aware of the breath. And released, clearly allowing abdominal breathing and any additional longevity breathing elements that you can do without any extra effort. And having a sense of letting go, not collapsing, but releasing. And beginning to feel the chi sinking through your body. So that it releases the energy your body cannot use downward into the earth. And then extending your mind through your body. Beginning to become aware of what's happening everywhere inside your body. Letting the mind help you feel and be aware. as we flow into the 8 gates, today let's not pulse. Still have the bending and extending up to Tsung, heaven. And simply hold that position and be aware inside your body, inside your arms, how everything is both closing and then opening. Then continuing to Kun, earth. Bend and twist in, then extend and lengthen out. Be aware of letting go. You may feel the connection to your lower dantian. And then into calm water. Connecting to your kidneys. Breathing into your kidneys. Drawing in fresh energy and releasing the used. Strengthening our original chi. Up and releasing to fire heart. Remembering that you don't want to expand your chest, but rather, if you can, expand your back, which massages the heart. And then down, out, Tsung. Very aware of your liver. And then up, Shun, thunder. And breathing chi into your lungs. to the earth. Gun Mountain. And then bending and twisting in to the middle dantian and connecting to your heart mind. Closing, keeping the movements round and spherical. So I think what I was meaning to indicate there was that you don't always have to do movement.
Mm.
The pulsing can go on very fully without any physical movement. Maybe not fully at the beginning, but eventually it can. And there are advantages of really gathering more chi in not moving. So, did I cause you confusion or questions?
No, that was good.
I like to confuse you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's look at the dynamic sphere. And think about that other arm. Let's see, I can come over here. So as you sink and go into the center, what's happening to the two arms?
Well, this one is going out.
Right.
This one is elbow bent.
Good.
So it's in.
So your right arm,
We're going
You're
with the
doing
right
it.
one?
oh, you're doing the opposite, but that's all right. The arm. You want me to mirror?
No, it's
No,
okay.
no,
No,
God,
no, no. Okay. So, not focusing on the arm that's tracing the movement, but focusing on the other arm. So it slowly begins to bend as you come to the top, and just pause at the top and feel, has that arm bent a little?
Mhm.
Is it relaxed or is it tense?
Mm,
Tense.
Relax. Let it go.
Yeah, working on it.
And as you come down through the S curve, what's happening to that arm?
Starts to
It
go out.
is going out. It's extending. Pause at the bottom. Feel it. So we're talking about lengthening here.
isn't it coming in as you're coming down?
This one is. We're talking about the other arm.
What other arm?
You have two. You're very lucky.
Okay,
We're not talking about this one.
thank you.
We know what this one is doing, hopefully. So as it begins its circle, the other arm is Bill. What's your left arm doing here?
Almost nothing.
So let it bend a little,
Yeah,
and then as you come down, what does it do?
well, it's starting to move.
Well, for the moment, just come to here. And so what's happened to this arm? What's it done? If the one in the middle is bent, what
This
it,
should be straightening.
aha, good. So you're right, go back just a little bit and start your transition. So now we're going to focus on the other arm. So pause, and what's happened here? What's happened to this arm? The arm out at the side, what's it done? Has it started to straighten or has it started to bend?
Well, it should be starting to bend, but mine is straightening.
So it has straightened to some extent. It had to straighten a little there and then begin to bend, right?
Yeah.
And then it's going to continue to what's it continued to do? Bend. And then coming down through the S curve, what is it doing?
Straightening.
Extending out, right?
Extend.
And then as it goes up to the top, good, they bent. And as you come back down, straighten, and then they reverse. Also remember you're shifting your weight in this practice.
Yeah.
going. Pause.
What, show me how extending and not extending.
So that's extended, that's bent. It's not much.
Okay.
And so you're not working the muscles like this.
Oh, yes, I am. I beg to differ.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're really trying to let that be an internal movement. If you have to use your muscles some at this stage, that's fine, because it's important to get the clarity of when is it bent, when is it straight, when is it bent, when is it straight. And it doesn't have to be much. That's
Okay.
part of the difficulty, is that it's subtle, it's not a big movement. The other thing that is kind of interesting is Dave doesn't like to shift his weight at all.
Yeah, I know. That's one more thing to think about.
That's right, and it's an important part of it.
Yeah, it is.
And you like to only shift to the left and center. You don't like to shift to the right. Is there some reason you don't like to go onto your right leg?
Bad leg.
Bad leg?
I don't know. I didn't know I wasn't doing it.
Well, exactly. That's that's exactly right.
Okay, I will.
And remember that you need to try to distinguish about where's 100%. But notice that I'm not leaning to 100%. I'm sitting on this leg at 100%. And here's the middle. And the other side has 100% also. And you can find 100% by sitting on this leg and seeing, can I lift this leg off the ground? Oh, almost. So I'm not quite there. Ah, there it is. Good, and you don't fall back when you lift it. That's, if you do, you're not at 100%. And maybe you have to work to that. You know, I'm not saying you should be there this moment. And the also interesting thing is that there are also 2 points that are halfway between 100% and the middle. And that's where you are when you're doing this. So here you're 100%, 50%, whatever you want to call this, 25 or 75.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite 25 or 75, back to the middle, 100, 50, 100, 50. And that shift of the weight is part of what moves the energy through your body.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a constant adjustment of the yin and yang balance in the body, which is also what you're doing with the arms.
Right.
Nothing to it.
When you're going through this,
Yeah.
like right now, my weight is more on my right
Yes.
foot than the left, and now it's the other way.
Yes.
Okay, that's what's supposed to happen.
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's all the way. See, I can be on my right foot.
ah,
You probably
that's exciting.
you probably missed it.
Maybe I did.
I don't think you did.
My eyesight is not perfect, but because that's also, it's related to the to what's happening with the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing to remember is, just as with this arm, it's going slowly from bent to extended. At the same time, this one is going slowly from extended to bent, and it's continuously moving. So this is not bend, complete the movement, extend, and complete the movement. This is moving at the same pace this is moving, but much more subtly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a trick. Well, it's not covering as much ground.
That's right,
This
it's
one's
not.
got to go to here. This one just kind of goes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And that's also what's happening here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, that
I
left.
mean, all of that is going on at the same time here.
Mm-hmm.
Bent, extended, reversed,
Mm-hmm.
extended, bent, bending. So what you work on, the dynamic sphere is an easy place to work on what you're going to do in the single arm.
Right.
Yeah. So, other questions in there about that?
No, that was good.
It's not, it's simple, it's just not easy.
No, it isn't.
Well, I think, and also I have to watch my structure, because when I go to 100%, let's say on my left, I have a tendency to
Yeah.
compensate, because I need to move some weight over here in order
Yeah.
to get this off the ground.
Right.
But you don't really need to if you come over and you're
Yeah.
straight up and down, set the leg, and whoop, that comes up.
Yeah.
Well, I leaned a little bit there. There we go.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. You know, it's this is exactly what you're working on when you do a kick in the form. We don't happen to.
We don't do kicks anymore.
We don't.
We're too old for those.
No,
That's right.
no, we're not.
No, we're not.
I do kicks.
Okay.
Come on. I'm older than either one of you.
Yeah. All right, you win.
So,
Mhm.
I,
Yeah.
I'm not inclined to go
Mhm.
anymore with that or
Okay.
take it into the single arm at the moment, because I think it's just easier to work on it in the dynamic sphere, and
Mhm.
when you connect that, then it will connect in the single arm practice without much problem.
Yeah.
Any other questions there, Phil?
I was just trying to get to a position where I could,
Yeah, good, better.
Mhm.
And this is also just related to that, is that the movement, the center of your movement is here.
Right here.
This is what's the middle of everything, because if you let it be here, when you move to 100%, you're leaning.
Mhm.
If you move this over there, then
yes.
it's something else.
Yeah. Keep the rectangle.
Yep. Keep the 4 points. I had I need to sit down for a minute.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. That makes 3 of us.
Yeah, I thought it might. Thought I would admit to it first. I had, in the last week, I had 5 people get in touch with me and want to start Tai Chi.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Well, I'm not starting any new
I
people,
was gonna say, I wonder if that came off of World Tai Chi Day.
Some of it may have.
Yeah.
I didn't really find out about that from all of them. There was one youngish woman who convinced me to do one private lesson with her because she had done Tai Chi in some senior center somewhere. It wasn't Tai Chi that they did, but
No.
had the names, but it wasn't Tai Chi. But anyway, she was enthusiastic and talked me into doing it, and it was kind of interesting. But the idea of the 4 points was mind-blowing to her. It was interesting. Never occurred to her that she had to do that.
So you had the private lesson?
I did one private lesson with her. Yeah.
Did it go well?
Yeah, I did a lot of talking because the first lesson, and there's just a lot that has to be said. And then I did a couple of things with her, and she went away very happy. She's going to try to get in touch with George. I think he has a beginning class. She lives in Rocky Hill, so a long way away from here. She would not have lasted as a private student, I don't think, 'cause it's a long drive.
That's a hike. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, so all those things. I'm going to throw out another thing about the weight shift, just because it makes a huge difference. And that is being aware that your etheric body, your energy body, is all around you, above and below and on 4 sides. And one of the ways that you can balance is really being aware of not only the energy and the direction you're focusing the movement, but the energy that's going in the opposite direction. So that's one of the things, for instance, with kicks, is that we, we get up there ready to do a kick, and it's all focused here.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're thinking of sending the energy out, which we are, no question. But we forget that there's energy going in the opposite direction. And if you can really be aware of that opposite energy, then all of a sudden your kick becomes something that has more control. And your balance can be better. And so
Yeah.
it's really kind of important to not lose track of the fact that your energy actually is all around you in all directions, all 6 directions, all 5 million directions, whatever you want to, however you want to think about it. But that when you're focusing an energy going in one direction, you also need to be aware of its opposite. And that's, of course, exactly what we're doing here. So, nothing to it. What was that, Bill?
Yeah.
Well, I found after Rick's last workshop, when I can't start my practice unless I go through a standing routine.
Oh, good.
Because it's just, I'm trying to wake up in the morning. And I've been working with pumping yin and yang.
Mm-hmm. Good.
For about, I don't know, until it feels really comfortable. And then I'll start whatever I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been good. And I'm hoping he goes, I imagine when he comes on the 19th, he's gonna probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
Although I don't think I've ever seen him do the same thing.
Well, no, he's not doing, I don't think he's doing the dragon.
He's not doing the grass dragon.
I
Or-
don't think so.
But he's gonna get into the yin and yang
Yeah, that
piece. I
yeah.
know that's a big,
Yeah.
he'll probably start with that.
We were talking about whether he would do that or the 5 energies of Tai Chi. 8 energies of Tai Chi, maybe 5. And it seemed to me that it might be better for him to do the yin yang, and then next time we might talk about the 8. So, anyway. Bill's coming too.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So there'll be 1, 2, 3 of us. Jeannie's coming.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Jeannie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Well, when I went out the door today, she's, good luck with, well, I had to go to my cardiologist first, my 8 o'clock, and then, and then some Tai Chi. And she's like, yeah, bring something back we can practice, so.
Well.
Yeah, she does, and she looks at his videos as well.
Mhm.
I think she's gotten into that. A wee bit of alchemy.
You can get a lot of alchemy.
Yeah, well, well, she's gotten into going into the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll look at what they're doing, and I'm like, nope, nope. See, she's moving her arms, and nope, that's not it either. I'll show you, or at least try. But there's a lot of crap out there.
Oh yeah, it's it's amazing how much there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. I would say in the last part of my teaching that I was really surprised at how many new students came who had not had good starts with somebody else somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's that's tied into also teachers allowing their students to refer to them as master, which they isn't traditionally is not how it happens.
No. No.
You aren't called master until other masters recognize that you've arrived at that level. So.
Yeah.
There aren't too many masters,
No.
at least in the United States.
No, there aren't. There are a few. There's a few. And despite some people's feelings, I think Bruce is truly a master. Bruce Francis.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it was a gift for him.
Oh, I think it saved his life.
Yeah. But I think his talent is, I mean, he's learned a lot.
Oh.
But I think a lot of it was just inborn when he just.
Yeah, I think he was one of those people that
It just got something.
had a natural.
Yeah.
Well, I the number of people that felt that way about. Oh shoot, I can't say his name now. That master from the Northwest. That Laddie.
Oh, Cohen?
No. Laddie studied with him, and I did one weekend workshop with him, which was mind-blowing and eye-opening, just amazing. Oh, I can't say his name. It'll come to me. It was the first time that I had actually felt somebody move me significantly simply with their energy. And his ability to do that was enormous. I guess I told you this, didn't I? But he had actually Lucky hosted had the space that we did this in, but he had Lucky bring in a overstuffed chair, and he had us stand in front of it, and he said, take any position you like, got fully rooted, and most of us got in a good bow stance.
Yeah.
And he touched his wrist to the back of your wrist, and you stood there a moment, and all of a sudden you went boom, and you were in the chair. So the second time around,
Yeah, smart.
Just give him the first one. That's like,
I like some of the others thought, well, okay. He found my center, and I had it where it belonged, but I'm going to raise my center.
Yeah.
Boom!
Does
He didn't have any trouble finding where it was.
Does he have to touch you, or can he do it without touching?
He can do it without touching me.
Yeah.
He had one guy he'd never met before. This is with people like this. I think it's really important to see them with people they don't know, because their students tend to do what they expect. But he had another guy, and they started like this, and instead of dropping him into the chair, he turned his hand and went like this, and the guy dropped to his knees, and he just moved his hand and the guy could not get off of his knees.
Hmm.
He tried to stand, but he could not stand up.
Oh,
He lined up 5 people pushing into him,
Yeah.
which of course he had no trouble doing. And then he could pick out one of them anywhere in the row and energetically, well, just holding his arm like this, energetically knock that one person out of the row.
Mm-hmm.
About that time, we all acknowledged
that he had it.
he had it.
Mm.
He said he could teach anybody to get to that level who would commit to absolutely doing exactly what he told them to do in practice for 4 hours a day for 10 years without missing a day.
Oy, oy, oy.
Whether actually, I knew one of his senior students who did not have his ability, but did have some of it, but I mean couldn't do what. Boy. Anyway, that was a weekend in which I recognized that yes, if you either, and I think he was born. You know,
Yeah.
that came out of your comment.
Yeah.
I think he was born with extreme ability,
Mm-hmm.
naturally, and I think some people were. I think Yang Lu Chan must have had that because he supposedly was never defeated in a battle, in a fight.
Yeah.
And he had extraordinary abilities. There are all kinds of stories about him. Anyway,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. We're not here just to talk. We need to do some more movement.
Okay.
Oh,
I think. What time is it? Oh, it's the end of class.
It's 11:15.
is it already?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry I talked too much.
No,
That's
that was,
fine. It's fine.
it works really well.
Well, you got to rest anyway.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Well, I do think what we did on the dynamic sphere is really important.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and
Work
it's
on that.
work on that a bit,
Yep.
and then we'll see if we can take that into the single
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's it's also, of course, present in the form. That's exactly what's going on in the form. It's just
Right.
much more complicated. But
Yeah.
and we just talked about the arms. There's also the legs. There's also the wrapping of the energy around the body.
Breathing.
Yeah, well,
My favorite.
it's highly recommended.
Yeah.
And it is extremely important. My God's class on Wednesdays, we did a long practice where I guided them through focusing on a lot of different elements as they did that Qigong, Neigong. And the first time they did it, they were all through with the flow, and I was only about 70% of the way through my notes. So the next time we did it, I gave them the slow down your breathing lecture. And it was very interesting because they really did. They could do it, you know. And it just pointed out that we do that, we lose track of staying present with our breath.
Yeah.
And we can breathe much better, but we can't learn to do that if we don't pay some attention to it.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing that mostly through my day I pay attention to.
Yeah. Well, that's really important.
Yeah, it's just been something I've adopted over the years.
Yeah.
As a tool to keep myself mindful during the day.
It works.
Yeah. Yep, it does. So I'm trying to impress on my meditation group on Tuesdays, which some of them are starting to get it.
Mm.
But I don't know. I know how I got there, but I can't. And I can only share that with somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily how they're going to get there.
No. I have to say that Bruce's Taoist longevity breathing training probably really was a game changer for me.
Mm.
I never really have achieved what I would like to have achieved with that, but I do feel that I can breathe into my brain when I'm really
when you really focus.
When I really focus.
Yeah.
Which, as I said, is probably most effective when I'm meditating.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I found interesting is that even teaching a meditation class changes everything.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really interesting because you can't teach and really meditate.
No.
Funny about that.
Yeah.
But there is something about it that really does change, certainly changes the breathing.
Yeah. I think it forces you to look at some of the details.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas before you probably weren't, because you're trying to convey something.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a magical thing. I don't know how anybody learns. Or, it's like you say something, you do something, you show slide, whatever you do, and then they pick up on some of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's kind of a magical thing.
It is.
Something transfers across the vacuum.
Oh, it's interesting, too, in a class, because you'll have those who do pick up something and those who don't get anything.
Yeah, well, they get something else.
They do.
Everybody has an experience.
Yeah.
And that's the learning piece.
Yeah.
Is that experience.
Well, I have to say, I do have one person who, for the longest time, but I will say she's studied meditation with me off and on for probably 20 years. For years, she said that every time she tried to meditate, she went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last 3 or 4 years, something else has begun to happen.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
So it just takes a while. She's stuck with it. I'm impressed that she's stuck with it.
Yeah. Well, she's found something.
Yeah.
That's kind of circumvented that. I mean, they say if you do fall asleep, then you need it to fall asleep. But, that's why at IMS they won't let you lay down. When you're in the hall, you're either sitting, standing, or sitting in chairs. I mean, you could sit on the floor or a pillow and a chair, or you can stand.
Yeah.
That's it. You can lay down if you get permission from one of the teachers that you've got a back issue or something like that, but
Yeah.
otherwise, no laying down.
Can you change position? I mean, stand, sit?
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely, because my right knee, it's got about a 45-minute time limit on it.
Yeah.
And when I was up there, it's a 1-hour sit.
Uh-huh.
And I could tell, I didn't have to look at the clock. I was like, okay, we're 40, 50 minutes into it, because this guy wants to move.
Yeah.
And I tried propping it up and put extra pillows, sit on the pillow, straddle it, use a little bench, and more in the afternoon. So that's when I would go in for the afternoon sessions, just sit in the chair and get my blanket and just wrap it, because by then I started to get cold. And they always have the windows open in there so you don't fall asleep, even when it's like minus 10 degrees outside.
Ah.
Yeah, with a little sign that says, "Do not close the window."
Where is this?
It's Insight Meditation Society. It's in Barre, Massachusetts. That's a Buddhist retreat center. So I've done a lot of workshops up there, and I did my long one, the 6-week one up there, which was well worth it. Well worth it. That was the time I was in the meditation hall, and suddenly I realized something else was causing me to breathe. It's not me doing it. It's not you doing it. It's something else. And I had a strong sense that it had intelligence. And that was it. But it came from someplace else.
Wow.
And,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh, okay. I always thought it was me. But when they talk about your first breath, whether it's in the Quran or in the Bible, that's what they're talking about. You're getting a direct contact with the divine, or whatever you want to call it.